everyone. Thank you for clicking on this video. I wanted to make a video just kind of to update everyone on what's going on and just talk a little bit about my disease, as well as talk about what Eric and I have kind of been going through since everything has started 2.5 years ago. It's hard to believe that it's been that long, but we're hoping, to keep pushing through and to eventually get to a place where my health is back on track and this is all behind us. I wanted to also just kind of make it more of a personal update. I know that it can be, a little disconnected when it's just writing. I love writing. I really enjoy it, and I love letting people know what's going on in my life through my writing, but sometimes you just kind of need that personal touch, and because I can't actually physically see all of you and talk to you in person, I really just wanted to do this video for you to just let you know what's going on. I actually wanted to start the GoFundMe about 6 months ago, but I was really scared. It's really hard to admit that we can't do everything on our own, and we don't have all the finances to do everything that we need to do. It was something that I really believe that God brought to my mind and put on my heart. But again, I was scared, and I, talked to friends, and I talked to my therapist, and I spent a lot of time in prayer and talked with Eric, and basically it just all kind of culminated to a point where, I really want to trust that the Lord has a plan, and that He uses His people to help provide those finances. And I know that the Lord will always provide. And sometimes it's not through, an anonymous, gift of exactly the amount that we need, which sometimes that happens, which is amazing, but sometimes it's through people donating. And so for all of you who have already donated, thank you so much. You have blessed our hearts immensely, and for those of you who are considering donating, we really appreciate it. So going into my disease, like I said, it has been 2.5 years of a lot of difficulty, and all of that difficulty has culminated to me being on the transplant list. I was officially told that I was on the transplant list on October 13th, which is really exciting. But if I were to do a deceased donor transplant, unfortunately, I would probably have to wait years, because they base the level that you're at on the list by this thing called a MELD score. And the higher you are in the numbers, the more likely you are to get a call that says, hey, we have a liver for you. But with my disease, it's such a unique disease. It's very uncommon, and it doesn't produce the kind of symptoms or blood test results that they score things on. And so my MELD score, instead of being in the 20s or 30s, which is where you could get a liver, it's a 6. And so I would probably have to wait years if I would ever get a liver. So we had the option of doing a live donor. The really cool thing is that the liver regenerates, and if any of you know me, you know that I'm a Doctor Who fan, and part of Doctor Who is that he regenerates. And so it's just this really nerdy thing that if Eric and I do the live donor, I'll be a Time Lord. So that's a really nerdy part of me. So, but basically, Eric is an exact blood type match for me. And he has already been through the blood tests, and those came back great. So now we're just waiting on a 2-day evaluation for him. Was already through the evaluation, the 2-day evaluation back in August, and that's how I kind of got put on the list. And so he's waiting to do kind of a similar deal. Not exactly the same, because they're now going to be focusing on the donors, but it'll be very similar. So we're just waiting to schedule that. If certain treatments that we are hoping for don't work, we're hoping to do the transplant either in March or April. That's kind of our ideal timeline. We don't know if that's actually going to happen. If the treatments that I'm doing end up working, and if my therapy ends up working, we could push off the transplant, which honestly, that would be ideal. And that's a huge thing, or a huge reason why we're asking for donations for the transplant and the treatment, because the treatment would be obviously a lot less invasive. It'll be a lot less intense. There's not going to be the long recovery period that the transplant would cause, and Eric wouldn't have to deal with any of that, which would honestly be amazing. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. We are kind of in a waiting period right now. We don't know what's really going to happen. We're just kind of in the starting period of doing different treatments and figuring those things out, and talking to doctors and talking to therapists and things like that to figure out how I can improve my quality of life without having to do the transplant. Basically, with this disease, it's normally it is a progressive disease, but it normally progresses pretty slowly. People will have to go in maybe every couple years to have procedures done, but my disease has progressed so quickly that it's really every few months that it has to be done. And so that's really been made the last couple of years really difficult, because ever since I was diagnosed, it's just been hospital visit after hospital visit after hospital visit, and then multiple procedures and questions of, well, what's going on. Sometimes they can't figure out what's going on, but I'm in intense pain, I'm just having a lot of trouble, and my blood tests are way up, but they can't figure out what's going on. So it's definitely been really intense, and I'm unable to work, as many of you know, and so Eric has had to bear that burden. And that's been honestly incredibly difficult. He is the best husband ever. I can't even explain how wonderful this man is. He has worked tirelessly to provide for me. And when he comes home, if I'm feeling sick, he cooks dinner. He cooks dinner almost all the time for me. And he makes sure that I get, the things that I need from the store. And he just really takes such good care of me. He is such a tender and loving and wonderful, amazing husband. But honestly, I can see the stress that it puts on him. I can see how difficult it is for him. He doesn't complain. He does everything with a smile on his face, and he always tells me, Bethany, I wouldn't do anything else. You're my wife, and I want to provide for you, and I want to help you in any way that I can. And that's been really amazing. It's interesting because intense health problems can either drive a couple apart, or they can push them together. And I praise God that the health issues that I've been through have really pushed us together. Yes, we've had our difficulties. There's been ups and downs. There have been tears. There have been so many stresses. There's been just so many things that have been difficult. But thanks be to God, we are closer than ever, and we are just pushing through, and we are persevering, and we're looking forward so much to the day that this is all behind us. And we don't know when that is, but we trust that the Lord has a plan, and we don't know what it is, but we know that He's directing our steps, and whatever happens is what He has seen all along. And we just trust that He knows what's happening, and then He has us in the palm of His hand. It is really difficult to be in the middle of things and not be able to see ahead to the future. But we know that we're in this, for a reason, and we don't know what it is. I just want to tell you guys again and again how amazing Eric has been. But I can see how much it weighs on him. I can see it in his face. I can see it in his eyes. He's tired. He's worked so hard, and through this GoFundMe, I really want to be able to give him a break, because he's been the one who's been paying the bills. He's been the one who has seen all of the medical expenses, and he doesn't complain, but he knows that it's difficult, and he knows that we're having a rough time financially because of it. We can't afford to go on vacation. We can't afford to get away. And while those things aren't all important, it's hard knowing that, we can't really just get away and just be a couple, because we just have everything in the back of our minds. We have the finances, we have the debt just always on our minds, and it's really, really difficult. And it would just be so nice, not to have to worry about that, all the time. Even, if we're at home, just to be able to just be together and not be thinking about all of the things that we have to do in order to pay our medical bills. But through all of this, we have had so much support from our family and from our friends. We are actually living in a townhouse at the moment with another married couple, and they have been phenomenal. They're our best friends, and they have been so supportive. They have been just a huge, huge godsend. And we're so thankful for them. They have just been such a huge encouragement to us. Our families have been huge encouragements as well. Whenever I'm in the hospital, my mom, even though they live 2 hours away, she'll come to the hospital, and she will stay with me during the days so that Eric can go to work, because otherwise Eric takes time off of work to stay all day with me, and he spends the night in the hospital. And I've been able to stay with my parents to just kind of get a little bit of a breather. They live up in the mountains, and so that's been nice to be able to spend that time with them and not have to worry about all the daily things, like doing the dishes and cooking and things like that. So we have been so incredibly grateful for my parents and for Eric's parents and his family. They have been, they've just been a really huge support. And again, I want to thank all of you who have already donated. You are so sweet. You have brought tears to my eyes. We have been so blessed by all of you, and we are so thankful to have a huge community of people who have wished us well, who have brought us meals, who have just loved on us and encouraged us and told us that they're praying for us. And I mean, this GoFundMe is really just something that we're trusting the Lord. You know, even if you can only give $5, that's okay, because that is $5 that we didn't have to put towards our medical bills, and it takes off stress, it takes off a weight off of our backs. And so even if that's all you can give, we are so grateful. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. We are so grateful, and I can't tell you just how much of a relief it is to know that there are people out there who want to help us and want to see us doing well, and not just struggling through and not going deeper and deeper and deeper into debt. So I really appreciate you watching this long video. If you've made it this far, you are my hero. I know that I can talk a lot, but I really felt like I had a lot of information that I wanted to share. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about or anything that I haven't talked about, about my disease, about the transplant surgery and what that looks like, about chronic illness in general, just about anything, please feel free to contact me. You can either find me on Facebook and send me a message there, or you can email me at bethanypgors@gmail.com. And for all of you who have chronic illness or have loved ones with chronic illness, I really invite you to contact me and to reach out to me, especially if you feel alone, if you feel like no one understands, if you feel like you just need someone to talk to who also has chronic illness. I understand, and I want to be there for you. You can visit my blog at morethanadiagnosis.wordpress.com and read my posts on there. I update every Wednesday. Or you can contact me, and I would love to talk with you. We can Skype, we can talk on the phone, or we can just email or Facebook message back and forth. I love you guys so much. Seriously, if you've watched this whole video, you're amazing, and I love you. And I want to thank you again for your support and just for loving on us. We love you guys, and just thank you again. Bye.